welcome back from a great lunch, but at the same time, we also know this is a time when you can sink into your seats a little bit. So we're just preparing you. We will be asking you to get a little bit active. What that looks like for you, especially after the UDL session, whatever works, whatever modality works. So welcome everyone to our session on data dunkers. As mentioned, my name is Katina Popolka, Senior Education Strategist.
David Hay, so I teach high school computing science and robotics, and then work half-time for Cybera on the Callysto project.
So we've been teamed up since about April, May, and we've been working on a new program that we call Data Dunkers. So we're just going to play a quick video so you get a sense of what it's all about. The amount of data in our world has exponentially increased over the past 2 decades, yet the opportunities to learn about data and acquire data-related skills remain far and few between. PS43 is a fantastic foundation, and PS stands for Pascal Siakam and the number 43, and he is very passionate about leveling the playing field.
My foundation, the PS43 Foundation, is on a mission to empower youth through education, to inspire them to be big dreamers.
At Dell Technologies, we're using technology to drive digital inclusion. So when PS43 approached us, it made sense that we each focus on our strength, PS43 with basketball, Dell Technologies with the technology. So Data Dunkers is an innovative basketball and data science experience for students in grades 5 to 12. We leverage their engagement and passion for basketball and show them how to make those connections in data science by looking at the basketball statistics.
By giving youth the opportunity to work with new digital and technological systems, we believe this will have a positive impact in their future.
In addition to PS43, we partnered with 2 other not-for-profits who have incredible expertise in this space. The program consists of learning activities designed to explore how to find meaning in data, primarily using data from the NBA and the WNBA. So students engage in data analysis by defining their question, collecting, cleaning, and analyzing the data using Python coding and Jupyter notebooks, and then effectively telling stories and communicating their results.
So I was trying to find the shot average percentage for each player on the Raptors.
If a coach were to look at this, they would have to figure out whether or not they need to improve their players in their free throws.
They learn to understand what the data looks like, how they can analyze it, clean it up, to answer some of their questions that they're interested in.
We are so excited to see how our data dunkers can improve their overall skill set and share their learnings.
With this foundational data science skill set, they can take that and apply it to other areas of their lives. It's really not part of any curriculum right now in North America. It's quite unique, and so that's why it's important to bring programs like Data Dunkers to the forefront. So we're giving our students skills to help prepare them for their future. Now we want to bring it to more students, more schools, so that everyone has a chance to take part in this program.
All right, thank you for coming. Have a good afternoon.
We're going to dig in a little bit more, but we do want you to experience what it would be like if you were part of Data Dunkers. And a lot of that is with engaging with students with basketball. So whether it's in your gym, whether it's in your library with some mini hoops or on the back of your door, it could be a waste paper basket just with crumpled up paper, throwing it in there. What we would like you to do now, whatever is available to you, is collect some data around shooting some baskets. So you can line up and try and see how you can dunk in there. Also, we have different types like this, where you can hold it in your hand and shoot and collect that data. So the whole idea is it doesn't matter. You can't say, a teacher can't say, well, I can't get the gym. Well, there are more creative ways that you can figure out how to do that and have a bit of fun. So what we'd like to do in the next 5 minutes is do some shooting of the baskets, and then if you scan that QR code, that will take you to a Google form to collect your data. Now, synthetic data is also welcome, so you can put in there whatever you would like. Right?
If you really don't feel like getting up, then you can put in your that you shot that, but you definitely need to pick up a. Yeah, okay, you're going to do that.
All right, so let's get up there. The balls are around there.
Hoops there and there and there and there. Each of them has a little basketball. Kat's got the mini
Anybody
one.
want to try this?
If some people want to try that, you can put in your first name. I like to say we're allergic to personal data, so
that's right.
Too much data in. But just your first name, how far you were from the basket.
And when it says feet on there, this is feet. 1, 2, like that. So you can be right beside it. All right, so just go for success and a bit of fun. Don't be shy, keep shooting. That's okay, just make it up. That's okay. All right. Oh, good shot. We just need a lot of data. We need lots and lots of data. Make those misses into baskets. We're fine with that. It's all good. As long as, well, thank you for helping us with that. If you have any last entries, we're going to be coming back to that live data. But this is exactly what we'd be having the students do. Play some basketball, shoot some hoops, get them active and moving. They're already doing it. So you can be doing it at gym, at recess time, or during a break time, whatever it may be. All right, there was my timer that disappeared, so we'll just keep going. All right, so how did this all come about? Well, last year, Pascal Siakam, he started up a foundation called PS43, PS for Pascal Siakam, and 43 is his number. And he approached us at Dell to see how might we work together, because his mission is around digital inclusion and making sure those students who are underserved, whether it's devices, networks, or digital literacy skills, that they can help. And he's been doing things across Canada. It's also an international foundation as well. So I know everybody always says, what happens if he's traded? It's an international foundation. So we're okay. So they approached us last year to try and get involved in Girls Who Game. That's another program that we've been running at Dell. And so we tried to find a natural fit, but we couldn't. And we finally said, let's start something net new. And so Dell is very focused on equity and inclusion as well, as many of you know. So we thought, let's focus on our strengths. We're really into digital inclusion and the technology. He's into basketball. Let's focus on that. So that's what we started with. And so it really got my mindset going. And I was watching a Raptors game one night, and I was with my family, my girls, and we've been brought up on data. But for many people, this could be an eye chart, and they don't understand it. They might know the name of basketball, but they don't understand what all of these different categories are, what it means. And, we have to really think about this. We've been listening to all these conversations about AI. Data is all attached to that. And do we have enough qualified people to handle what is coming our way? It's not really being taught in schools right now, the way that we potentially need it for our future in our workplace. So this is when I started to reach out to folks, and it's like, why do we need to know more about data science? So it really is about that there's not a lot out there right now. And we need to be making better informed decisions based on data. Now, I'm not saying just on the quantitative. We always have to keep in mind we're people, we're humans, and so that qualitative has to come out. But we definitely need to make sure that we are making decisions with the numbers as well as the heart as humans. And then finally, it is growing as an in-demand occupation. So when we're talking about preparing our students for the future workforce, we need to have people who are qualified in this area, and it has to come right down to elementary to get started. So if we look at Pascal's stats, he wants to be a better player. He actually has a goal to be a top 5 NBA player. If we look at his stats and his data, we can start to learn about a bit more and make predictions. So we can even go online and find out which running shoes he wears, where he scores the most points. And I don't know if you know this, but they are now putting chips, not just in basketball players, but in hockey players, all the major league sports, to track the data of shooting, of, whatever sport that they're playing. What data is going to give them better informed instruction to improve their play. So this is the future of sport and technology coming together. So this really started that partnership with PS43 and Dell. And so then we came with 3 objectives to the actual program. So the first one is we need to learn foundational data science, and we can do it through Pascal Siakam and basketball stats. And if you're not a Pascal Siakam fan, that's okay. It can be any of your favorite basketball players or any of your favorite athletes, because we all have those stats around them. The second one is engage underserved students and communities, and that's a big piece of Pascal's part. He is really committed to those underserved communities across Canada and internationally. And then finally, we want to make sure that we're showing those career pathways for our students. So when we talk about number 1, I was like, I don't know anything about data science. I know what we wanted to pursue. So I actually started to do a scan across North America to find out who's an expert in data science that can help with building a resource and curriculum. Well, hey, look who popped up.
She couldn't find one, so she talked to us instead.
Yeah, it was amazing, because I was like, Callysto is one of the leaders in North America. And I was like, well, this is great. And you're in Alberta, you're Canadian, which is always important for us to make sure that we have, Canadian resources that we're working with. And there's another not-for-profit called Digital Moment out of Quebec and Ontario. So working together, we have been able to build this incredible program with foundational data science. So, David, over to you. Very briefly, the Callysto program has been about introducing data science within regular curricular outcomes in classes in grades 5 to 12. So grade 8 social studies or high school math or junior high phys ed or anything like that is something that we've been working on for a while, and it's very exciting to be involved in this as well. And so this is just briefly what it looks like in a Jupyter notebook of reading a data table from a website and displaying it and getting the data that way. The great thing about professional sports these days, as Katina was mentioning, is the amount of data that's available, whether that's just the where they shot from and how many points were scored, to bigger and bigger data sets around sensors and video and all of those sorts of things. But what we're interested in today, of course, is the data that you actually collected. So we've just opened this up in a Jupyter notebook. This is running on Colab, but with Callysto, we actually run a Jupyter instance as well, hosted on Cybera's Rapid Access Cloud. But this one will read from the Google spreadsheet that was fed by that form, and we see we've got 200 and some entries from. Not all from today, though, unfortunately. Some of those were from previous ones. But from this spreadsheet, we have this data set with 208 rows in it. And then we can do a visualization of it just with a couple lines of Python code. And this is something we can give this example to grade 5 students, and they can use this to make their own graph. So they don't have to edit the code, but they can if they want to change some colors or other things like that. So this is, in the entire data set, how many shots were made, or what percentage of shots were made at various distances. The fact that more shots were made at 10 feet leads me to believe that there may have been some inaccuracies in the data recording process, but that's all right. We can also filter it if we want to include just today. So with Python, we can programmatically say what day is it today, and we can say we want just the ones where the timestamp is from today. And so we've got 159 rows. So good job collecting all that data. That's excellent. So we can then take that data, and if we want to filter it by Jordan, for example, and see just Jordan's data from today. Oh, we didn't, did we not have Jordan?
No shots? Okay. Bill, okay.
It wasn't Michael Jordan.
Oh, all right. So percentage of shots made by, yeah, there we go. So 50% at the 4, but 100% at the 10-foot line. So that's excellent.
You're the further back.
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
you go. Well, and that's exactly what we want the kids to do, is to start to look at the data and start to tell the stories and have an understanding, like, why did we get the data that we did? Start to analyze it, ask those deeper questions, higher order thinking, and have them be able to tell what they think the data means.
Yeah, and so using their own data is a great springboard to that, but then they can say, we can take the data from the Toronto Raptors from the last 20 years and say, what were some of the things that have come out of that? For example, or comparing all of the different teams. So the win-loss percentage by team, this was, I think, for last season, and cool that we actually programmatically picked from an online data source that has the primary color for each of the teams and then colored the bars based on that. So we can see that, which is a red one that has the Raptors. I don't know. I don't have my glasses on. But anyway, Raptors did okay, I guess. I'm not sure. This, though, is one of the coolest visualizations. This is something that actually changed the game of basketball. That looking at these, so this is the shot chart from the 22-23 regular season, where all of the shots were taken from, the types of shots. You could also generate, in the data set, it shows whether the shot was made or not, so you can generate a similar one that colors them by whether the shot was made or not. But something we notice is that there's a big gap in here. Why? 3-point line.
Yeah.
So that was a big learning that came from the data a number of years ago. They looked at that the success percentage was not significantly greater here, like inside the 3-point line, than outside the 3-point line. So they essentially, teams abandoned the shots from just inside the 3-point line. If you're going to be just as accurate, take half a step back and you'll get 3 points instead of 2 if you're successful. So those kind of data sets, and again, that's something that a student can, we've got some code, the student can pull the live data, they can compare it by year and look at those over time, or compare the Raptors to some other team, all of those sorts of things in these quick visualizations that they can make.
Okay, so where does it fit? What we wanted to do is make it as flexible as possible. We started with grades 5 to 12, but what we're seeing is there's definitely a fit in post-secondary, but it can be in math, it can be in science, it can be in phys ed, it can be after-school classes. It really doesn't matter. And the resources that we have are in French and in English as well. So if you're an FI or whatever it may be, it's available. It's Chromebook friendly, it's browser based. So really we wanted to make sure that all students have the opportunity to participate in this. Student privacy protected, Canadian service, which is always a great thing. And David, did you want to talk about that site?
Sure. So we've made just a basic website for now that has links to the Data Dunkers resources. We can maybe click on that and show what it has for now. And that includes things like this beautiful banner that one of our colleagues made. So the data labyrinth is an interesting one where it's like a digital escape room. As you answer questions, it gives you more questions until you've solved the problems. A data hackathon where it has challenges related to, in this case, Pascal Siakam's stats. Some longer-term resources where if you wanted to spend 10 hours with a set of students going through these resources, some lesson plans related to it, and some other shorter tutorials. And that's all on the website here.
So this is available to everyone. We want to make sure that everyone has access, because as Canadians, we need to make sure all of our students are having access to data science. But that does bring us to that second objective, where we really want to make sure that we're engaging with underserved students and communities. And so that's what we started. At the Toronto Catholic District School Board in the Jane and Finch Quarter, and you might not have heard of that in Alberta, but that's a really high needs area in the west end of Toronto. So we worked for a couple of weeks with students on these activities, and it was amazing. Tons of basketball. They didn't want to leave the basketball court, so we had to be creative. Track your data. They had their little data notebooks, and then they started to see how they could actually put it into Python and into the Jupyter Notebook. So by the end of it, they were all successful. All the activities are differentiated, so it doesn't matter the readiness for the students. They can all do it, and they all got up to present. And to try and get teenagers to present in the summer is really challenging, but they were excited. They were engaged because of the basketball. So the other thing I wanted to share with you just quickly, one of the activities we did, we're in beta. This has been a great pilot activity, and we were like, what should we call this program? So the kids used ChatGPT. They also did a ton of brainstorming on their own. They picked 3 top names, and then they sent them to Pascal Siakam. And then on the last day, he sent us a video, and he was giving us these sort of incentives along the way for the kids. And he picked out the name Data Dunkers. And when they heard it on the video, they just went insane because they've picked the name. So how great for a community to hear this.
Hi, Data Dunkers. Today marked the last day of our data science and basketball program. I've seen all of you guys' final projects. I know how hard you guys worked on this, and I'm really, really impressed. You guys came to camp every single day, full of energy, ready to learn, and showed us how data and sports combine. Thank you for that. You are the future. Continue to work hard, dream big, and always remember to never give up no matter what. Have a great summer. I'm Pascal Siakam. Peace.
Well, you can imagine these kids. They were going insane because you have this professional basketball player talking to you directly. So that was really exciting. And they also got certificates of completion signed by Pascal as well as by the president of Dell Canada. So that was really neat. And I'm just going to go through this quickly. This is at post-secondary. We talked to the folks at McGill. They were running a hackathon. So they said, well, can we do something with Data Dunkers? So we had the post-secondary students doing it too. So it's differentiated. And that's how we're open to any ideas or suggestions for folks to work K-20 so that we can do this with as many people as possible. As mentioned, we are in beta, so we're still working through. There's hiccups. We have learned so much together as a team, and that's been the fun of it. So when you work with us, it's not going to be smooth sailing all the time, but we are smoothing it out as we go. And it really is just recognizing what we need for the future. And if we need to engage our kids in a different way, and that wonderful talk about UDL, this is a different modality to engage kids, to show them a different way from shooting baskets in the classroom out on the court and coming in and making that come to life for learning. That's what we need to do. And so if you want to join us as part of this, you can reach out to either of us, but at datadunkers@dell.com. We're collecting everybody to play. So questions in the last minute. Yep.
So what would be the next step for a school board that wants to engage?
Besides emailing datadunkers@dell.com, of course, trying out one of the activities, trying out the data labyrinth or something like that would be a great thing to do. The data labyrinth is designed to be like a half-hour to 1-hour activity, so that's a good one to start with.
And I'll just build on that. We are a team at Callysto, Dell, Digital Moment. We're all working together, and we're providing the professional learning. We're doing all sorts of activities to support the classroom educators. We recognize this is new for a lot of people, so we are here to support you and take you through that journey. So that's where it's at.
All right. So again, that's something that we can show students, that we can use the power of coding to randomly select from things as well. So
thank you very much, everyone, for Data Dunkers. We're around. Please come and talk to us. Have a great rest of your conference.